find in Kiwi homes that in our first aid box we'll have a jar of the manuka honey. My people have been using it for generations as a healer. About the last 10 years I've been using it in their rest homes and hospitals. You apply it to your skin, and if you've got damaged skin, if you've cut yourself or burnt yourself or damaged your skin in any way, you apply it and it helps repair the skin really quickly. As long as you don't put it in the refrigerator to deactivate the goodness in it, yeah, it's a great healer. We also have a lip balm of it, so if you suffer from with the air conditioning, the cracked lips, it's only about $8 or $9 for a little tube, so yeah, and it's really good. It'll heal your lips in no time. So also our people, we use it in our traditional way of eating, which we call the hangi, spelled H-A-N-G-I. Our men will go out and cut it down a couple of weeks beforehand and dry it out. And the day before our actual event of the hangi, we'll dig a hole out in the paddock and go down to the river and get some volcanic rocks. We'll place those in the bottom of the hangi pit, and then we'll build a big bonfire on top of it. So and then we'll light the bonfire. Usually we're feeding 100 plus people when we're having a hangi, and friends and relations and visitors. It's a huge event usually. So yeah, we've got quite a bit of mahi or work to do to get it organised. It's a great way of getting the family together, working together. Usually the men are doing the hard work and the women are in the bloody kai or the kitchen. The men would have gone out hunting probably a few weeks beforehand also to get some wild meat. It'll be hanging up in the refrigerator, waiting for the day of the hangi. Once they've built their bonfire on top of the rocks, they'll set it alight. And usually takes a good 3 hours for it to burn down. Heat the rocks up. Meanwhile, the wahine or the women are in the kitchen, the wharikai. We are preparing the baskets of food. In this day and age, we use the metal baskets. We first of all line them with tin foil, and then we'll put cabbage leaves in the bottom. We'll then place our wild meat, our wild pork, our wild goat, our wild deer. We'll then put the domestic animal in, like the lamb and the beef. We'll then, depending on what season it is, get the available root vegetables at the time. A lot of potatoes to peel. We're feeding like on our marae here in Kaikoura at Christmas time. We had 550 we had to feed on Christmas Day. So that's a lot of food preparation, as you can imagine. So yeah, we'll sit around together talking and doing the mahi, doing the work together, getting it all prepared. We place our root vegetables on top of the meat. We've got a beautiful sweet potato in New Zealand called the kumara. It's a really tasty sweet potato. And of course this time of the year we've got nice new potatoes as well. So you know, carrots and parsnips and anything that is available, we'll put into the hangi. We'll then seal it up with the tin foil. We put the cabbage leaves on top of the meat and then seal up the food in the basket. Once the fire's burnt down, then the men will come into the wharikai and pick up the baskets of food that we've prepared for them. While their fire's been burning down, they would have been outside soaking sheets in a bath and also sacks, get them absolutely saturated. So when the food's brought out of the wharikai or kitchen, they'll then wrap the baskets up in the sheets first of all, and then finish them off with the sacks. They'll then place the baskets of food on top of the rocks, and then proceed to cover it over with dirt. usually takes a good 3 or 4 hours for it to cook. So and men are very good cooks in this country. We just leave them to it. So when they're decided that it's cooked, they'll uncover it. They'll pull the baskets of food out off the rocks. They'll take off the sacks and then take off the sheets. They'll bring the kai or the food into the whare kai. We'll get it all prepared. And then our manahiri, our visitors, and our whānau, our family, and our friends that we've invited along will come in. We'll do what we call a karakia, which is equal to a prayer. We're thanking our sky god, our earth god, our sea god, and river god, and forest god for what they've provided. And then we'll have a big feast. So that's a traditional way of eating, and of course the manuka bush has an infused flavour through the meat as well as the dirt. So yeah, if you get the opportunity, have a hangi while you're in our country. In fact, our Dutch people may have already had a hangi. I'm not sure what Christine got up to with you this tour, but knowing Christine, she's always got her visitors fully entertained. She's a great guide, so I'd imagine she would have talked a bit about our culture to you as well. So yeah, if you're interested at all on having a traditional event, then Eyesight has available tours for that. In Christchurch we have what we call a Kaikoura evening, where the local Hapu tribe or local sub-tribe will do some kaupahaka, just some singing and dancing with you. And then they have a traditional meal, the hangi. So if you're heading up north to the North Island, Te Arawa tribe in Rotorua, been looking after our manahiri or our guests for many generations, and they have lots of traditional activities in Rotorua. So you can always check out Eyesight, see what's available where you're travelling if you'd like to experience some of their culture. But yeah, that's our traditional meal. So if you've been to Hawaii, you might have seen a hangi before. We believe that our people came from Hawaii. Our chiefs left Hawaii with their people on board, and our what we call wakas, or boats. They navigated through the stars and the currents of the ocean and watched the bird life. First of all, went over to Chile and then came down to the Pacific. In history, they talk about the triangle, and that's where they ventured from. Arrived in Aotearoa, and there's already a Māori tribe here called the Moriori tribe. They were a very peaceful tribe until my ancestors turned up. You study the history of New Zealand, you'll see that even before the English arrived, we had our own taki amongst the Moriori tribe, and yeah, there's huge history in our country. So, and of course the English came over in the 1800s, so history writes up about that. I'm sure you all know what happened then. Yeah, that's what we believed where our people came from. So they talk about the wakas that ventured in this direction in the triangle. And we're just about in the area now, actually. We've got to come down this hill and then up another hill, and then we're in our region. And at the bottom of the hill that leads to the ocean, we call this in the countryside, we call it an udapa, which is a burial ground. Our ancestors are buried at the bottom of the hills, and In those days they were buried standing upright and believed that the souls would travel back to Hawaii. So often people are visiting our area and don't know that it's an udapā in that area. And I come across bones as we've got a fault line right through the South Island, so a bit of movement in the ground, and we'll bury our ancestors. Of course I'll go to the police, and then the police will come to our chiefs, and we'll have a ceremony and rebury them. So we don't eat, drink or hunt in that area. So it goes from the bottom of the hills, and you can see the ocean, all the way around to what we call Goose Bay. So it doesn't matter what tribe you're from, whenever there's an udapā, we pay respects in that way. So I'll show you when we get to the ocean. Bit of roadworks going on up here. The boys are constantly working on these roads, doing a good job, keeping the roads up to scratch. Being a highway, of course, all the big trucks and trailers are using this road and constantly getting damaged. So yeah, they're even working on a Sunday. So once we get to the top of the hill, then you'll be able to get a wee glimpse of the ocean. We'll just send down to the ocean, and then we've got a lovely ride around the ocean road. So keep an eye out on the rocks for the kikino, or New Zealand fur seal, lazing around there. Got two types of seals in New Zealand. Got the New Zealand fur seal. He's up to about 200 kilograms. He has his fur to keep him warm. So like a dog in the seasons, he shreds his fur. In the winter time, obviously got a much thicker coat to cope with the cold temperatures that are in this area. They're very camouflaged. They look very much like the rocks, so they're quite hard to spot if you've never seen them. But keep an eye out for them down there. The girls are pregnant at the moment, so they'll be having their pups very shortly. This is the last weekend of summer, so the pups are born about halfway through autumn, so, and they stay around the area until spring, so that's like the beginning of October. So you keep an eye out for them. There's also, we have the sub-Antarctic lion seal. Occasionally he gets caught in the currents and he's washed up in this direction. So he's a massively big seal. He can be 400 kilograms and up. So he does have his blubber to keep him warm, unlike the fur seal. You mostly see him down in the Otago region, so that's down in Dunedin. Loads of sub-Antarctic lion seals there. We occasionally see the leopard seal from the Antarctic in the area as well. He's a grey and white seal. It looks a bit like a silk pillowcase. Magnificent jacket he has. Very ferocious, as everyone would probably know. In fact, all the seals can be ferocious if they need be. Usually, when we see them, they'll be lazing around. So they've got a puku, or a belly full of squid and the rockfish of the area that they've fed on all during the night. So usually they're quite happy, but you know, just like us all, we have our off days. They can be a bit grumpy. But at least they've got enough manners to growl at you. They'll growl at you like a dog if you're annoying them. And that gives you time to step away from them. And we will be seeing them this afternoon. We're actually looking down on them. So you'll be in no danger at all. You'll be able to take some photographs and see them in their own life, doing their own thing. which isn't usually much at that time of the day. Just get a bit of a rest and recreation. And, yeah, it's a lot of people have only seen them in the zoo, so we're so pleased that we can show you them in the wild. So our tribe our sub-tribe has the rights to the marine life in the area, so the seals are protected under the Marine Act. No one can hunt them or harm them, or even provoke them. So we're pretty strict on that as well in our area. So usually people are sensible, but occasionally there's the odd clown. So they usually get bitten and end up in our A&E in Kaikoura. And yeah, the nurses aren't very happy with them, but the seals don't deliberately, you know, go out and bite people unless they're being provoked. So, but anyway, they're all around the rocks that you'll hopefully be able to spot them. If not, I'll show you them this afternoon, and you'll be able to get some photographs of them. Also, keep an eye out for the dolphins as well, as they may be in the area. I'll keep an eye out for them, and if I see them I'll let you know. Sometimes they're up close, other times they're quite a distance. Unless you've got a pair of binoculars you can't see them. But when you're out on the whale boat, if it's after 1 o'clock, as we have a rest period for our dolphins in the area between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, usually when the vessel's coming back, the skipper comes across the pod and then he'll stop so that you can view them. So some people swim with the dolphins in this area. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people are grinning from ear to ear when I pick them up at the end of the day. They've just had a real magical time. Really enjoyed it. And, yeah, they're as far as the whale watching goes, there's no other company out here. I've been whale watching all around the world and been horrified with all the companies. Check out the merino down here. He's having a good look. But yeah, there's no other companies on the water, just ours. So the aeroplanes and the helicopters are allowed to, they have a permit from the tribe to take up so many people per day. So, but there were no other vessels out there except ours, and there's only allowed to be 3 vessels, whether in the air or on the water, around the whale at one time, because we don't want to spook him. We're there to observe him. We've had a scientist in the area since 1991. She's been studying the sperm whale, done a lot of really important research. So it's a very special place you're coming to. So we'll get up on this rise here, and then you'll look out into the horizon. That's where the whale boats will be going, get some sort of idea on the sea conditions, but they will keep you up to date when we get into our whale watch. But I can usually tell when I look at the horizon. Now she's looking out there for you. Got a bit of a rise out there, so it's going to be a bit jobbly out there, I'd imagine. But the conditions can change so rapidly out there, so but yeah, welcome to our area. This is where we the only place in New Zealand you can do the whale watching. In fact, I can see a boat out in the horizon there. It's probably our whale boat, our 7 o'clock boat coming back in. A very comfortable vessel, so it's nice and roomy, so when you sit down you're very comfortable. It's like sitting on a leather chair, so but a leather couch. So our young people on board, they'll be talking to you, giving you lots of commentary, talking lots about the marine life and bird life and our culture and the area that you're visiting. So So also got DVDs to show you. We give you an idea of the depth of the canyon. I'm sorry for our American people, I'm not sure we talk kilometres, so hopefully you can you'll be able to multiply that into your depth and miles depth. So it's very, very deep. So in Goose Bay, it's only 800 metres out on the continental shelf. I'll show you where that is very shortly. Drops into the canyon. So there's only 3 places in the world that the continental shelf is so near to the land. That's here in Aotearoa, in Sri Lanka, and in America. So yeah, it's a great place for the marine life to feed. We've got lots of minerals and nutrients in the water, so and marine life in the area are very exaggerated. So good fishing, good fishing in the waters. We have fisheries staff that monitor our coastline here. In fact, those hills that you just come around, sometimes in the summertime, halfway through those hills, there'll be a roadblock, and they'll be accompanied with the police, and they'll stop every vehicle and just check to see that everyone's got the quota that they're entitled to. On our rocks down here, we have what we call paua, or abalone, you probably know it as. We call it paua in New Zealand, about P-A-U-A. You're allowed 10 paua per person per day. That's what the tribe's allowed, so the shell has to be 125 centimetres in length. Anything smaller than that, you've got to leave it behind. And you're not allowed to go for the crayfish and the paua if you've got a tank. So there's lots of rules and regulations. Free diving for the paua. I'll just interrupt the Kaimoana talk with the seafood talk for a moment and let you know this is what we call Goose Bay around here. So this side of the bridge is where our Udapa stops, and on the other side we can hunt, fish and do all those other activities that we're forbidden to in this area. So just out here, 800 metres is where that canyon begins. So yeah. Great area to go fishing. In fact, those birds are feeding on top of the water now, which makes me think there must be krill, or loads of krill by the looks of those seabirds. I'll be having a good feed. My goodness, there's loads of them. I'm very near to the water, which makes me think the dolphins may be near as well with them feeding so close, but we'll keep an eye out for them. Yeah, that's Goose Bay. They'll show you a DVD on the. I'll show you a picture of the vessel that you're sailing on, and then I'll show you the depth of that canyon there. So yes, I can see actually the dolphins in the far distance by what we call Barney's Rock. In this area. Used to be 25 whaling stations, so this big rock that you can see once you get past these trees, it's one of the more famous ones. It's called Barney's Rock, and I can just see the glittering splashes of the dolphins in the far distance out there. But however, if the whaleboat comes across those, they'll stop for you anyway and let you view those this afternoon. If they drive past them this morning and you're thinking, there's a dolphin pod, what's up with that? It's because of the rules, they're not allowed to disturb them. We just want them eating and breeding and enjoying the good life out there. The dolphins in the area, we've got the dusky dolphin, he's a bigger dolphin. And we've got a dolphin that you'll see nowhere else in the world called the bottlenose dolphin. We call him the Maui dolphin. He's only 1.2 metres in length, so just a little guy. He splashes around out there with the Duskies, and they show off for the girls. The Duskies are hard case, they'll really put a show on for you. You get up on their back flipper and scoot along the water. That's always very impressive when you see that. You should have a great time out there in the water. Getting back to the pawa and the quota we're allowed. It's also pawa jewellery, so if you want to buy anything uniquely New Zealand while you're here, just make sure it's made in New Zealand, it's not counterfeited. The New Zealand brand for the merino sheep is called Icebreaker. In fact, I had an American man on a month ago, and he said that in New York, the Icebreaker, they've just opened an Icebreaker shop there, so it's definitely getting a name for itself. And also we have Punamu, which is our greenstone, our South Island greenstone that's found only in the South Island waters. If you're going to Hokitika, I would imagine our Dutch people would have been through Hokitika. There's a really neat factory there that you can actually watch them carving them into jewellery.